Hi, my name is Diana and welcome to my Core. Today I'm going to be giving you some Christmas book recommendations. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to recommend to you guys is Christmas Pact. This is by an author duo that I love them together, but separately their books can be hit or misses. And this one is about this girl who works for this company, and there's this guy there who's like her nemesis, and this coworker writes an email basically calling her a stick in the mud, and I think she also puts the coworker that she doesn't like in the email, and the girl decides that she needs a boyfriend for Christmas, and he decides that he needs a girlfriend for Christmas. So they get together and they decide to be in a fake relationship. And I really like this one because it just reminded me of the Hallmark movies, but more adult, because I know that the Hallmark movies obviously have adults in them, but they feel they're family oriented, where these romance books they're intended for an adult. So this book was really cute. I listened to the Audible. It was really fast. If you already have Audible, you can listen to this one for free, which I love that about it. And it was just quick and cute. The next book I have is The Office Party. This one is about this girl who, it follows two timelines for some reason. I don't know why. This is by a Black author. And so the first timeline is past, and it is this girl. She works for this company, and her boss is just a huge ass. He always makes them work the holidays. They don't get any days off, but they do get a work vacation, but they have to go on it, and it's not really a vacation because they work. She fakes sick so she can go on her own vacation, and he ends up flying to come and get her. And then the next Christmas they do a Secret Santa, and her sister gives her a special toy, and she doesn't know this because her sister gives her the same thing every year. She gets her boss for the Secret Santa, so she's like, okay, well, I don't like this guy, I don't really want to buy him a gift, my sister gets me the same thing every year, I'm just gonna give it to him. And yeah, he opens it and he's like, girl, and it kind of sparks a romance. She does have a boyfriend in this one, which I'm not really for the cheating trope, but I don't really know why she had a boyfriend in this one because he was useless, and I think he only showed up twice. So yeah, next book I have is Snowed In with the Player. This one is a duology. It is twin sisters. It's about it's about being snowed in with the player. It's about this girl and her brother's on the hockey football team, and she ends up being snowed in with the player, and they end up confessing their feelings for each other and having to sneak around. I thought it was okay. I really don't like stories where they get together too fast into the story. I like a little bit of angst. This one did have angst, but because they were sneaking around and it was a short book, I was like, okay, this book is good. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't mind how soon they get together, then you'll eat this up. But I feel even if you do are a person who cares about how fast they get together, you'll still like this book because it was still fun, and they still had that secretly thing going on. And then the next one follows her twin sister, which I haven't read that one yet, but you get their story in this one. And once I get a chance to read that one, I'm definitely going to be reading it because that there was a scene. The author knows what she's doing. Yeah, next book I have is The Best Worst Christmas, and this one was also one of those free audiobook type of things. And this one is about this girl who is coming home for the holidays to meet her mom's boyfriend, and she finds out that her mom is dating her ex-boyfriend's dad, and so she has to spend the holidays with her ex-boyfriend, and they just rehash why they broke up and what went wrong in their relationship. And I thought this book was super cute. This book has one of those scenes, my favorite scene in media, and it sometimes is my favorite, sometimes my least favorite. It depends on how it's done. It'll be like, oh, I caught you, and the other person will be like, oh my gosh, you know my secret, and the person will be like, yeah, I know your secret, and they're like, oh my gosh, I guess I can come clean on it. And then they one person is they say the secret and it's something so stupid. That happens in this book, and I just I was eating it up. The angst was there. The audiobook gave this was fun. It was a fun book. The next book I have is a book that I just finished recently, and this is The Holidays. This is another book by a Black author, and this is about this girl who, in the beginning of the book, she's about to get married, and her fiance runs off with her best friend who she was a co-author with, And so the next year, she's like, she loves holidays and she wants a boyfriend for the holidays. Relatable. And so she's dating a bunch of guys and they're not working out, and she ends up running into this guy who owns this restaurant. So he ends up like helping her. He's like, this is what guys like, this is what they don't like, and he ends up like falling in love with them. But what really got me was there's this one where she went on a date and he was like watching, and I was like, this is giving. The next one is Not So Merry Christmas, and this one is about this guy and this girl who are both business partners, but they also are like childhood like academic rivals. And a holiday party, he announces that they're going to be getting married, so they have to fake date each other. And I thought this one was like really, it was like okay. I obviously like, I wasn't obsessed with it, but I was like, this is a fun like quick read. The next book I have is also by a Black author, and this is called Mistletoe Kisses. This is about this girl who boyfriend broke up with her and a few years ago, and his best friend kissed her, and they never talked about it, and they never talked again, and she moved away. So now she's going back to this town and she has to face the best friend that she kissed, and he's like confessing his feeling towards her. And I thought this was like okay, but I've also read some other books by this author and I absolutely love her. I love her work. So I felt like this was a good, I personally use Christmas books as a way to test out authors for the first time, and this was one of those perfect books. The next book I have is Do Actually. This is actually a second book in a series, but I didn't read the first one because I didn't care to, and the covers don't match the rest of the series, so I didn't care to. But this one is about this girl who is friends with the male love interest from the first book and the guy who's friends with the female love interest from the first book, and the people from the first book are getting married. And so this doesn't take place, or it has the wedding, but the wedding doesn't come until like the end of the book. So this is just them like being, this is just like their banter. Like he's like a duke, so he's like a player, he's a rake, and she is from New York, and her ex-husband just broke up with her. He has a newer, younger wife, and in the beginning they kind of have like this fake dating moment where she had like this thing for work, and like he comes in and he's like they're like fake dating a little bit. This book is kind of like, doesn't really have a plot. It's kind of all over the place because like you don't really, there's not really a thing, there's no tropes. But it was so fun. He was a player, and like I love like rakes and like players and things like that. And she was also Latina, which I love. I'm very excited to read the third book, which is about someone who I don't care about and don't even know who they are, but whatever, I'm gonna read it. Okay, and then I had this book called Resting Scrooge Face, and this was a lot different from a lot of the other like Christmas books I read, because usually with Christmas books, like one of them is a Scrooge, one of them loves Christmas, but in this one they both hate Christmas. This is about two exes, and one of them is like writing this letter to like, okay, so they broke up or whatever. One of them is writing a letter, I don't really remember why, but someone mails it off and it ends up to being her. And he has like a Grinchy type of nickname, and she has like a Grinchy type of nickname. They don't know it's at each other, by the way. And so they're writing these like letters to each other, and they're like falling in love, and they're both like falling in love based off the fact that they're like Scrooges, and then they end up realizing like, oh shit, this is my ex. And yeah, but I thought it was really interesting because they both were like Scrooges, but the letters thing kind of was a drag. So I'll listen to it. If you have it on Kindle Unlimited, you can listen to the audiobook for free as long as you get it on Kindle Unlimited. So that's what I did. The Nice, the Naughty, and the Nanny, and this one is like a nanny type of story, duh, because of the title. This one is about this girl who is nannying for this guy, and the kid is like super bad and evil, and they end up falling in love. And like, of course, there's that trope where like the kid is no longer evil and bad anymore, but whatever. Then I also have, and then I also have The Mistletoe Bet, which this one is about this girl who used to love Christmas, and then she moved away, and she's coming back to town for her parents because she hasn't been back for a while. She's running into her brother's best friend, and he convinces her that he can make her fall in love with the holidays. And like, I was just like, It was okay, but it's cute and I like the cover, and I feel like this might be for some people. I don't like recommending books that I only loved because I read a lot of books and I'm a really harsh reader, so I know there are some people out there who will probably find some things that they'll love even with the books that I don't love. Okay, and I saved the best book for last. This is my only 5-star read out of all of these, and this is Tangled and Tinsel. Okay, this one, if you know the Dare, this book, that is what Tangle and Tinsel gives. Okay, it is about this girl who, she is like this house, she does things to house, I don't know, she like decorates them, interior design. Yeah, she's an interior designer, and she's working for like these 4 guys in their small town, and they're like the hottest guys ever. They're like business guys, and there's a snowstorm coming, so she gets trapped in the snowstorm with them. So it's a reverse harem book, and for some reason whenever there's a reverse harem holiday book, I love them. And it's about their time being trapped in the snow together for a weekend, and it was just so like hot and steamy. And I read a book by this author before called Filthy Little Pretties, and that was a really good book. I didn't know it was a series, and I totally forgot about this author, and then like I somehow came across this book and I read it, and it was 5 stars. And Filthy Little Pretties was 5-star too. I don't know how I forgot about this author. I read so many books, I think I just forgot about her, but I need to go back and read her backlog because this gave. Yeah, so I hope that you like these recommendations. A lot of these books have like second chance romance, best friend's brother, forced that word I can't say, forced proximity, and then like there's always like a girl getting broken up by her boyfriend. So I don't know, I really love Christmas romances because they're quick, they're cute, they're simple, and they usually always have my favorite tropes, like small towns, like so good. And then if they're smutty, like Tangled and Tinsel, that one was filthy. I suggest saving that one. Get you some eggnog, get you some hot chocolate, some cookies, because that one blew the other ones out the water. Like, that was a really good holiday book. Thank you for watching this video.